Welcome once again. It is Monday, the 15th of July, 2013. We are, for those of you that really realize it, that's why the hat's on actually. We are 2 days away from San Diego Comic Con dropping. Wish I was there. Oh, wish I was there. It's on the bucket list. I'll get there. So I will get into this week's video. Sorry if it's a little quick. Last week was my first week of starting back school, so I spent the weekend doing a lot of drawing and like math and all kinds of other crap. So I really didn't do a whole lot of talking to people, except for like one or two people here and there. But like it wasn't really like a whole. It wasn't like it was usually, and so it didn't really have a whole lot to work with or to come up with. So, in given that, I have come up with a few things that we can talk about. It's not the list like it was last week, but it's a few things that probably still need to be covered when it comes to being in relationships and being with someone else, and you know how everything else that we've all talked about in my relationship videos. So, first one I'm gonna jump into is, when is it too late to say sorry in a relationship? When you have fucked up, no matter what it is you have done, whether it's a minor fuck up or it's a huge, colossal fuck up, when is it too late to say you're sorry? Now, some people say if you say sorry too fast, then you know you're admitting guilt or whatever. But I mean, honestly, words are just words. If you really want to prove you're sorry about something you have done, your actions will prove that you are sorry about something you have done. Saying you are sorry it means nothing. We've all said we were sorry about tons of things that we never were actually sorry about. So what makes whatever you did in a relationship is, I mean, especially if it's something like you cheated, like you can't be like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, and you really can't say it didn't mean anything, because then it just basically means, you know, sex doesn't mean anything to you. So then the person you're with is going to start to think that, so the sex you're having with them doesn't mean anything. And it becomes a snowball effect. Prove that you are sorry, and it will say that you are sorry. So basically, don't say sorry. I mean, you can say you're sorry, but really prove that you're sorry. Don't just think you can say, oh, I said I was sorry. What's she still mad for? What he still mad for? I apologize. Because sorry doesn't fix dick. That's why they're still mad. Just in case you don't get that. I'm sorry fixes absolutely nothing. You can't undo what you have done, but all you can really do is prove that you won't do it again if they give you a second chance. And that is really the best sorry that will ever happen. Proving that you'll never do it again, best thing that you can do. Hands down. That's the best thing I can tell you to do when it comes to that right there. And that's just reality. So next, I want to talk about something that's kind of important in a relationship. That most people, I think most people don't even think about it. But I'm talking about gift giving. And when I mean gift giving, I'm not talking about just like birthday gifts or like Christmas. I mean like gift giving in general. Like, I have a personal thing in a relationship. I don't want the person I'm with to buy me anything extravagant, because it kind of feels like a burden in a relationship to me. If you go out and spend like $2,000 on me, and I mean, I understand that you love me and you want to spend this money on me, and it's not about the money, it's about the thought and the love that you have for me. It's why you got it for me and all that. But history has proven to me that the minute shit goes downhill, all of that gets used against you. Just like anything you've done gets used against you in an argument. Them telling you, oh, remember when I bought you this, or when I did that, or even worse, once you break up, oh, well, I bought you this, so you need to leave that with me. It has happened. I mean, it happened to me in my last relationship. I got the crappy wireless receiver for my 360 as opposed to the really good one that got bought for me. But whatever, I let it go. So it is what it is as far as that's concerned. That's how I look at that, you know. But when it comes to gift giving, I have a limit on stuff. Like, you can buy me gifts, but don't buy me nothing extravagant. Don't go out and buy me a car. Don't buy me a new laptop. Don't buy me a new TV. Like, anything that might require a credit check is off the list. Anything that requires a cosigner first or last month, anything like that, off the list. Simple little bitty stuff here and there, that's cool. Box set of DVDs for a TV show I like, no problem. You want to surprise me and pay for my month of Netflix? All right, cool. I can live with that. You spent like $8 on me, whatever. No problem. But gift giving leads to problems. One, it also leads to outdoing each other because you kind of feel pressured if it's Wednesday and your significant other decided to stop and bring you home like, you know, every Harry Potter book because you used to have them and you lost them in a fire, and so now they brought it back in a sentimental. Cool. It's not really, really extravagant. I mean, because it's the Harry Potter book collection, unless they get like some really ridiculous, expensive version of the book collection. But it's still a factor of now the next time, in the back of your mind, whether you realize it or not, the next time you decide to get them some surprise gift, you're going to want to try to get them a gift that's either cost more or the same amount of what they spent on you, or has a bigger, significant emotional impact on them. And then it just becomes a whole cat and mouse game of back and forth. So it becomes tricky. It becomes kind of tricky when it comes to gift giving. So you need to be prepared for whatever the gift giving situation happens to be, or how it goes, or what's going to happen. Balance it out. You know, lay the ground rules. Like I've been saying since the first video, lay ground rules about stuff like that. When it comes to gift giving, you know, let them know that you don't want to get really, really big, expensive gifts that, you know, are just kind of all ridiculous and crazy. Like, don't go out and buy me an elephant. Don't go out and get me like weird shit that is from East Africa. Don't surf the internet to find like the most ridiculous stuff. Don't do that. I mean, just don't do that. That is not the right thing to do. Buy little simple stuff here and there if you're gonna do gift giving. If you want to, you know, and that's another topic I'll get into. I guess I'll add it to this video since this one's probably gonna be kind of short. And I'll just roll right into it now since I'm already halfway there. It's surprises. Surprises in a relationship. First and foremost, know that the person you are dating actually likes surprises. Because if they don't, it will go all kinds of wrong for you. Nothing's worse than having a TV sitcom moment when everybody hops out and they yell surprise and you get kicked in the nads or punched in the face because they weren't expecting the surprise. Don't do it to yourself. Know if they like surprises. Then if they do like surprises, make it little bitty simple surprises. And then hope that, you know, they know that you're doing these little surprises, especially if you eventually create a track record of doing it. Like, if every payday you get them, let's say, a box set of their favorite TV show. If one paycheck, you get the first season. Next paycheck, you get the second season. Hope that the person you are with realizes that you're doing these little surprises, and don't go out and just buy the rest of them when they get some money because they want the rest of them, and then ruin all the little surprises that you're potentially getting for them. That's what you can hope for. Speak from experience, people. Trust me on this. So you have to, you know, hopefully they know that, but, you know, most people do, so it's not really that big of an issue, actually. I don't think so. It shouldn't. I never thought before, but now I do, so it's kind of a leery situation for me about that whole thing, but that's just me. You never really know. So when it comes to surprises, make sure they know it's a surprise, that they like surprises. Not make sure that they know it's a surprise, but make sure that they like surprises. That's what I mean. Make sure the person actually likes surprises. Otherwise, like I said, it could go all kinds of sideways for you. And make sure your little surprises are stuff that they like. Like, I kid you not, I make a list. That's how I keep track. Most guys totally forget about stuff. They forget anniversaries, birthdays. They remember like Christmas. They remember the big things like Christmas, you know, but make a list. That's what I do. I actually have a list of the last gift, the first gift I gave someone, and when I gave it to them. So I know exactly what the reason was and what that gift was. And then on the list is the next time I gave them a gift, what that gift was. And basically each gift is themed so that I know if on Christmas I gave them something that's from their favorite movie, then on their birthday, I should give them something from something else. That way it's not back to back. It's like, oh, you got me something from my favorite movie again. Yay. Don't do that. Switch it up. You keep them guessing. That way it's always something they like. Like I said, I keep a list. It works, guys. Girls, trust me, it works. Keep a list. Every time you buy them a gift, write down, birthday, bought this from this. You know, if they like X-Men on their birthday, you bought them like a really cool like necklace or a collectible for their birthday from X-Men. So then on Christmas, you get to be like, all right, now they also like Harry Potter. So then come Christmas, you get them something from Harry Potter. And then when your anniversary rolls around, you get them something from the next thing that they like. Say it's Doctor Who, you get them something from Doctor Who. And then you roll it around and you roll it around. It keeps it different, keeps it interesting until eventually, I mean, granted, you eventually will run out of stuff to get them, but it will take years for that to happen if the person you're with has tons of stuff that they like. So you should be good for a while. You should be perfectly good. Next thing I want to talk about is truth. People always say they want the truth. And to a point, they are correct. Wanting the truth is actually the best thing you can want in a relationship. You always want the truth. Now, the problem isn't the truth. The problem is what you want to know the truth about. That's where the problem lies. You've heard people say, I want to know everything about you. They're lying to you. Nobody wants to know everything about you. What they really want to know, but what they don't say is, I want to know all the interesting stuff about you. That's what they really mean. They don't tell you that, but that's what they really mean. I want to know all the really interesting stuff about you. Because nobody wants to know if you spent 6 years in a mental institution because, like, you saw your younger brother stab your mom and get raped by your dad at the same time. Like, it's gonna fuck you up. You spent time in a mental institution, you got better. You're not well adjusted. You no longer have night terrors. You don't walk in your sleep. You don't piss on the floor in the middle of the kitchen while making brownies. You're okay now. But they don't need to know that. Why? Because the truth obscures people's vision. How they see you now is completely different from how they will see you once they know the truth. So it really comes down, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with telling the truth. I am a fan of telling the truth. What you need to realize is what questions you ask when you want the truth. That's what you really need to think about. Before you sit down with somebody and tell them that you want them to tell you the truth, think about what you're asking them. Think about the question you're going to ask. And then ask them to tell you the truth. Because then it's okay. If you've thought it out and you know exactly what you want to know, you'll have nothing to worry about. But if you tell them, hey, we've always talked and yada, 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 and there's like, whenever we talk, you always leave out this, like, gap in your life. What happened in that gap? Tell me the truth. If you love me, you'll tell me the truth, which is the worst thing to use in a person. Because to tell them, if you really love me, you'll tell me the truth. All I'm going to tell you is if you really love me, you wouldn't ask me to tell you. But that's just me, though. I'm going to shoot it right back at you and put the ball in your court. But the minute you ask them that and you tell them, that's essentially forcing them to tell you something that they might not be comfortable with telling you. Which if you really love a person, you will never do. Don't ask them to tell you something or even do something that they're not comfortable with based on whether or not they love you. Because that's just fucking wrong. You're basically making them choose between how much they love you and whether or not they want to do something. And if they really don't want to do it, then you can end up being ass out about a whole bunch of shit. So you don't want to do that to yourself. I'm just saying. That's just me. You don't want to do that to yourself. So think about what you're asking before you say, I want to know the truth about blank. Because the truth is subjective for one, but the truth changes people's view. Like you could have the best friend in the world and you meet this person and they're so awesome and they're so great and they're so fantastic, but then you can find out that they used to eat people. You're going to look at them differently now. You know, every time you get a cut or every time they kiss you or every time you get intimate and they like lick your neck, you're going to wonder, this motherfucker tasting me? Like, and not just like tasting me like in the intimate term, like, this motherfucker like tasting me whether or not he needs to like season me. Like, did I start dating Hannibal Lecter? It fucks with you. It changes how you see things. So don't do it to yourself when it comes to that kind of situation. Don't ask them something you really don't want to know the truth about because the truth will change how you look at them. And if you are happy, stay happy. Fuck it. That is my best advice to you. If you are happy not knowing something, depending on how bad it is about what you might not know, just be happy. I'm not saying if somebody on like America's Most Wanted kind of looks like the person you're seeing and you want to ask them, but you don't know if you should ask them, you might want to call America's Most Wanted first. Or you might want to ask them. You might want to flip a coin, but you probably should get that one cleared. Definitely. That one you should ask about. Just to know what exactly is going on in that kind of situation. But that's really, how often does that happen? How often does anyone date somebody that happens to end up being a murderer or on America's Most Wanted or a pedophile? I'm thinking, and that it's never happened to me, but I know someone that it has happened to at least like 3 times, so it does happen. So be on the lookout. Be wary of people. Just, you know. Now, I will talk about real love versus loving the idea. Now, here's the difference. Loving the idea is that, like, you want to have a girlfriend or you want to have a boyfriend so bad, you kind of don't really care about the person you're dating. More so, you care more so about the idea that you are dating someone. You're like, oh, I got me a boyfriend. Oh, I got me a girlfriend. Yay! But you actually don't love it. You just love the idea that you're with someone. Aside from the fact that that probably really means that you're codependent, it can really lead to you ending up being on like an episode of SVU or Criminal Minds or Cold Case Files or CSI. Because somebody might disappear your ass and nobody will ever know. Real love is... Well, real love is really hard for me to explain. Because the older I've gotten, the more I've looked back on the relationships I've been in, the more thought I've put into it. And the way I look at the world now, I can't really actually say I've actually been in real love. I've really, really liked a lot of women. How can I say I've actually loved them? Maybe, kind of, sort of, maybe 1 or 2. It's a thin line. And even more so, real love is different per person. What I may love in someone is not what someone else may love in them. Everybody has their own qualities and traits that they find attractive and that causes them to fall in love. So what real love is really all about you. That's just like that whole situation of beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Real love's in the eye of the beholder. What you deem as being real love is what you deem as real love, not everybody else. So it's, you know, I can't really cover that one all too well, but I know the idea, loving the idea, worst thing you can do to yourself, because you will end up hating a lot of things. Because once the glass breaks and the fog clears of the new relationship, and you realize this person's not as great as you originally thought they were, so maybe you don't love them as much as you thought you loved them. And you realize, you know, you'll eventually come to a point where you probably break up, and you only love the idea of this person. You didn't actually love the person. You just love the idea of not being alone. I mean, because nobody wants to be alone, but then again, people settle. And that's, you know what, that'll be the next video. I will do a whole video on settling, because that's what people do now. So just, yeah, loving the idea of a person is totally just not what you want to do. You want to actually, if you're going to be in love, you should love the person, not the idea that that person represents. So that's that. Next is friends, which is, friends are like a minefield also, when it comes to guys and when it comes to girls. Although I guess technically it's a little different to a degree depending on the friends you have. But when it comes to girls, when you're getting a girlfriend, her friends need to like you. I don't care if you don't like them at all. I don't care if one of them looks like one of the ogre extras from Lord of the Rings. You need to like that bro. You do. You need to like her. And she needs to like you. Because if she doesn't like you, eventually your girl will not like you. Unless her friend's opinion don't sway her opinion on her guy, like, which does happen, but you know, it's tricky. A girl's friends not liking you is probably one of the worst things. It's right up there, probably like right under like her family not liking you. Like if her family don't like you, then you're kind of really screwed. And if her family and her friends don't like you, just make sure you send her. She's on your Christmas list every year. That's probably about as good as it's gonna get. With guys, though, if his friends don't like you, girls, for the most part, you can probably still you and him will probably still have a decent relationship. You just probably will never hang out with him and his friends together. He'll still keep his friends, and he'll keep dating you. He'll just probably separate the two of you, because his life works easier as long as his friends ain't asking him, why are you still dating that girl, man? Because who got time for that? And that's just because guys' friends can be dicks. Because guys' friends boil down to, you know, that one friend who's mad that you're dating somebody, because that's that whole misery loves company friend. And then there's the one friend who's in a relationship who's happy you're dating somebody, because now he's not the only one dating somebody. And then there's the friend who's asking you who doesn't like her, who's like, oh, well, are you at least fucking her? Well, if you're fucking her, then it doesn't matter. There's that friend. You know, that's kind of some of the categories guys' friends break down into, which are horrible categories, don't get me wrong, but that's kind of what they break down into. And a guy will continue dating you regardless of those friends, because sometimes when it comes to that kind of a situation, sometimes guys are more clear than girls are. You know, they don't let their friends dictate what they do, who they do, and who they talk to, because they want that woman. They want her, and so fuck everybody else. That is unfortunately it. That is, I feel kind of like I've let you down on only a 20-minute video, I guess. So next week I will try to do a little bit better. I will actually do a little bit more talking. I will balance my time a little bit better, talking to friends, so I can actually have more topics to talk about with you guys next week. I will see you next week. And as always, love, peace, and hair grease, and be good to each other.